So the answer may surprise you. I've heard many people say that the winners will be the ones with the best technology, or the winners will be the ones with the best and smartest data scientists, or the winners will be the ones with the most sophisticated data architecture, or the ones that have the most data to learn from. I'm going to tell you that those are all incorrect. I think the winners are going to be the ones that best apply AI and machine learning to their business and think very hard about how to leverage the new technologies, how to leverage their data in ways that directly boost their business performance in top line growth, in efficiency, in client experience, or in improved risk management. I see a lot of work being done on AI and machine learning that is perhaps it's interesting, but it's not something that will have a direct and immediate impact on the performance of the business. I think the companies that will differentiate themselves are the ones that use the technology in ways that have the most immediate value, rather than spending enormous amounts of money investing in people and tools and infrastructure, and then potentially being disappointed that they're not seeing the value that they had hoped for. The other really significant differentiator, I think, will be the companies that organize themselves to become AI enabled. And what I mean there is, and I'm not going to go through this in detail, but the point here is that there are many constituencies involved. There are the data scientists themselves. There is the data office, where you typically find the people, the data engineers, the people who operate the data platforms. And then there's traditional IT, the people who run your technical infrastructure and your applications. And you have to get these people working together effectively so that you can move models quickly, safely, and efficiently from development through validation and into production readiness and deployment and then monitoring. And the companies that set up their organizations and their procedures to make this efficient, to make this safe, to make this fast and easy, are the ones that are going to get more AI built and deployed than their competitors. And this is not that difficult to do, but it does require some thought. The other major factor I would say is that companies have to get the governance right. Everybody knows that AI can be used in ways that may not be appropriate, or give you answers that may be misleading or biased, or may have flaws in particular areas. So you have to make sure that you're putting the right amount of governance around the development and testing and deployment of AI. But the biggest mistake I've seen companies make is that they either apply a one-size-fits-all model to governance, or they put insufficient oversight around the models. And if you put too much governance around the process, you'll smother innovation, and many good ideas will never make it into production. But if you make the opposite mistake and have too little governance and oversight, you may be introducing operational, reputational, and regulatory risks that could come back and hurt you. So I think the governance needs to be risk-based. I think you need to consider, for example, what the purpose of the model is. Who's going to be using it? How are they going to be using it? What predictions are going to be made, and what decisions will be made as a result of those predictions? What's the downside risk of those predictions being wrong? In some cases, it's a disastrous consequence, but in some cases, it's really not very serious. You're sort of just back where you started. You need to look at the audience. Who is going to see the predictions from this model or the results of this set of analytics? If it's a regulator, if it's the board of directors, if it's clients themselves, then you have to have much more validation and testing. Whereas if it's something that's going to be used purely internally just for one department, then maybe much less testing is required. And then the last question I think that's important is operational importance or criticality. How important is this model to your ongoing operations? If the model fails, what happens? Does your operations come to a stop, or can you continue on without the model? And I think these are the questions to ask, and depending on the answers, a different level of governance may be appropriate, a different level of controls, oversight, documentation, testing. I think the worst thing you can do is try to put all the same governance and requirements around every model, regardless of the answers to these questions.